What's going on everybody, this is Kart and I'm back with a new video. Today I'm thrilled to share with you a pretty cool technique on how to create a realistic wax shader using the power and versatility of Arnold Render. Immerse yourself in the fascinating process as we explore the step-by-step creation from the fundamentals to perfecting your skills in crafting impeccable wax materials. Whether you are a beginner looking to enhance your skills or a seasoned pro seeking to refine your shader artistry, this tutorial is for you. So get relaxed, grab a coffee or a cup of tea and let's roll the intro!
So first off, I would like to thank you, my Discord members, for suggesting me the idea for this tutorial. Also, I've made a poll to let you choose between 4 models that I've preselected beforehand. So the model that we will use today is the one with most votes. Let's go for Mando and Baby Yoda. On myminifactory.com, an open source library with tons of scans of sculptures, toys and more, we can now download the awesome scan model. Okay then, I've just fired up Maya and here's a 3D model that I've already prepared. I've also already set up a basic look dev scene. If we look a moment to the setup of the scene, it's pretty basic. We've got an HDRI, a backdrop, a rim light and a right and left light. This is a basic lighting studio setup. If I open the outliner, you can see that everything is clean and tidy. It's important to have everything well organized if you work in production with a team. So it's good to get into this habit early on. Okay, so let's begin by creating an AI standard surface. Let's rename it properly and also don't forget the shader engine too. Now we can assign it to the model. Let's launch the IPR to see what we've got. Okay, let's focus first on the base color. Let's pick a pale pink tone for the base color. Yeah, something like that. Now let's introduce our specular. We can change the roughness to 0.3 as a base value and the IR to something like 1.52. Okay, sweet. Now let's reintroduce our transmission. Let's pick a pale pink tone of the base color. Let's tweak it a bit. Then we need to reduce the transmission weight to 0.8. Now let's change the depth value to 1 and introduce some scatter by changing the color value. Not bad. Let's tweak the scatter value. Pretty sweet. Now let's deactivate temporarily the transmission to focus on the next step. We will use a texture to drive our roughness and bump. Okay, let's create a file node, select our texture. This texture has a lot of gray value information. It will add some surface imperfection and details to make the shader more realistic. Select it and change the color space to raw, because it's a grayscale scalar map. Now we can create a quick triplanar node to avoid creating UVs on the model. Let's connect it like this. Now we can create a float constant node to drive the scale of the IE triplanar node with a 1 value. Drag and drop the float constant onto the scale input line of the IE triplanar attributes panel. Then select outfloat and scale XYZ. Then close the panel. Now let's change the float value to 0.5. As you can see now, on the IE triplanar node, the value is set on the 3 axes. Let's add an IE range in between the IE triplanar output and the specular roughness input to remap the value later. Now let's check the scale of the roughness map in the IPR in solo mode. The scale is a bit too small, so let's tweak it a bit. Let's lower the scale to 0.1. Let's lower it a bit more to 0.05. Again to 0.02. Okay, sweet.
Hey you, I know you are watching my video and I know you are not subscribed yet. It's literally so easy, just go down there and boom, press subscribe. So like this video, comment and hit the subscribe button. Now back to the sweet shader.
In the IE range node properties, let's lower the output min to 0.3. Rename the node to keep it organized. Let's create the bump map based on our roughness map. Create an IE range and a bump 2D node. Let's connect them together. Let's launch the IPR to see what we've got. Obviously it's way too much. Let's lower the bump value to 0.2. We need to reverse the bump too, so minus 0.2. Let's tweak also the IE range values. output min values to 0.02 and the output max value to 0.5. Nice. Little tweak again. Pretty nice. Now we can create another level of detail with the secondary map. Create a file node. Let's pick this texture this time. Again, change the color space to raw. Copy and paste the previous AI triplanar node and reconnect the nodes as before. Then we need to merge the two textures together. Create an AI layer RGBA node. Connect the first roughness texture to input 1 and the second texture to input 2. Then change the operation to plus in the AI layer RGBA attributes. Yeah, pretty neat. Now we can reintroduce our transmission. Now let's add an important but tricky to set up channel, the subsurface scattering. It simulates the effect of light entering an object and scattering beneath its surface. By looking at the Arnold online documentation, we've got the main parameters, which are weight, color, radius and scale. Also, we've got 3 different algorithms. Random walk v2 is more accurate. Okay, let's introduce the subsurface scattering effect. First, let's configure the weight. Don't go too crazy on this value, something like 0.2 is okay for this. Now we can introduce the subsurface color. Let's switch the algorithm type to random walk v2. Now a really important value to set up, the radius. It will determine the distance that light passes through the surface. Let's try something like that. Let's change the weight to 0.4. Let's tweak a bit the radius and the color again. Yeah, more like this. So here's a raw render of the scene. It took 44 hours to render in 4K with high samples. It was pretty overkilled. So I really need to thank my friend Pyolites for handling the render on his super fast workstation. Without him, this tutorial would not have been completed on time. And boom, the final result. Really nice. What do you think, guys? This is a really cool way of doing some realistic wax shaders.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, you know what to. Subscribe to my channel for more awesomeness. And I see you guys in the next video.